guys, another meal I'm going to prepare part of on the Dyna-Glo smoker. For this one I'm using basic oak charcoal briquettes with a few mesquite charcoal briquettes on top. I'm making, I don't know how to get boneless ribs, pork ribs, unless it's a meat between the ribs, but that's what we're doing today. And then, as my side, I'm going to make Caldo Verde Portuguese kale soup. So I'm just getting the smoker going, and I'm going to try and keep this right around 145, 150 degrees. Pork likes that temperature. So I've got this pork all sliced up, it's ready to rock, and I've marinated it for several hours with bone-sucking sauce, garlic, a little bit of pepper, a little bit of salt, and that's it. So I don't want to overwhelm the flavor of the pork itself, so I only, like I said, I didn't use a rub or anything like that with a billion ingredients, or spices I should say. But this is how I'm going to give this one a shot. I've not done this before with this recipe, that is. So we're going to see how it goes. Yeah, I have a boo-boo here, but it's sealed up really well. So there will be no blood dripping on my food. The wife would not like that. And I have washed my mittens, so I'm all clean and ready to go. And we're going to get this underway now. Oh, and I should mention this is going to be in an aluminum pan, just so that it cooks in its own juices. I think that's going to be important for this particular recipe. And it's okay, that's not plastic, it's some kind of Bakelite, I think they call it, and you can actually put these lids from this pot set I've got in the oven. So there's no danger of any issues with that. So here's what I've got, and like I said, they've been marinating for a bit now. So we're going to put them in this foil pan and get them in the smoker. So here is our boneless ribs. My briquettes are going pretty well, so we're going to close the firebox up. And we're going to close the door on the grill. Like I said, I really want to keep this around 145, 150. And I don't expect it to take much more than an hour and a half tops. But I'll start on my Caldo Verde soup probably in the next 50 minutes. And I'll bring you guys along for that too. And between the ribs and the soup, it's kind of odd, I know, but it's what I'm in the mood for. So we'll see how this turns out. Okay, it's time to flip these boneless ribs. It's been about 30 minutes. And I will admit I'm having a little trouble keeping the temperature down. It seems to want to be closer to 160, 170. And I'm pretty sure that's because I put so much charcoal in the firebox. So a lesson learned. Keep the temperature down, keep the fuel low. The fuel, of course, being the charcoal. I wanted these to be thoroughly cooked, but very soft and tender. So I'm still gunning for that. I have the chimney opened all the way, and I have the airflow to the firebox closed all the way. And I don't have any boiling liquid, which is cool. I'm not adding any more seasoning or sauce. There's plenty of liquid in the bottom. And if it wasn't so hot, I'd tip it out. I don't have an oven mitt or anything with me.
but they look like they're coming along pretty well. So maybe another 45 minutes or so, and they should be good to go. But that's the Dyna-Glo tip of the day. Keep the fuel down, i.e. your charcoal or wood, if you want to keep the temperature down. I guarantee that's the problem I'm having, and I'm going to have to babysit this a whole lot more than I normally do. But my bad, so I'll know for next time. Okay guys, it's time for the Caldo Verde soup, and the ingredients, and you know, I just realized that I'm out of butter, so I have to use this substitute. Not happy, but it's what I've got. I have everything else, so I'm not going to shut this down because I'm out of butter. I'm going to use, and I should have a little more, but I'm going to use 5 ounces of kale, and unfortunately it's store-bought. I'm going to use 32 ounces or 4 cups of chicken broth, 3 medium-sized potatoes, and these are the golden potatoes. I'm going to use, it's just under a pound, I think, 14 ounces of Polish kielbasa, 1 medium-sized onion, minced garlic, olive oil, and we're going to use a little bit of salt and pepper as soon as I can find it. So with this one I'm going to go with the Himalaya salt, and it appears that the only pepper that I've got is a garlic pepper seasoning, so that's going to have to do. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to cut up these potatoes. They should be bite size. And I know this probably is not the traditional recipe, but it's pretty similar. And it's going to get the job done. Once I get these potatoes cut up, they're going in the microwave to sort of blanch them, which is going to soften them up a little bit. I'm not going to overdo it because I don't want them super soft, but that's a quick way to, for a lack of better words, blanch your potatoes. And if you ask me how long I had this pot and the one that I'm was doing the lid for the ribs, you wouldn't even believe me. One of the best deals I ever got. Surprisingly enough, my wife was a saleswoman for the company that initially sold these. But I'll let you in on the secret. They're at least 20 years old. And I still have all of them. I still have all the lids. And we use them pretty regularly. And if you nuke potatoes, you know how they want to stick together and become unmanageable, so to speak, unless you're mashing them. But that's okay, because this is going to go into a broth, so to speak, and they will help to make the broth a little creamier, and they will separate eventually. And yes, I did wash my hands. So let's put them in for 3 minutes on high, and then what we're going to do is cut up this onion. Get rid of the skin. No one likes onion skin. Get rid of the knobbers on the end. Nobody likes those. Nobody I know anyway. And then we're going to cut this onion up pretty small. And onions and I really don't get along, but I'm going to cook the snot out of this in the pot here with some olive oil. And if it's really cooked to death, I can tolerate them. But most places, restaurants, whatever, they don't cook them that well. So I have a tough time dealing with onions. Onions are not my friend. And yeah, I know I still have the boo-boo thing going on. If you saw yesterday's video, the duck hospital, I gave them another redneck pond break today, and I poked my finger with one of the wires on the pond. So I immediately panicked, ran in the house, scrubbed it up with 2 different kinds of soap just to make sure I didn't get any swine flu or bird flu or whatever the world has us believing is going to make us sick. But I knew that I was going to be making food, so I didn't want to risk anything at all. And the bandage is good old electric tape and a little bit of paper towel. Alright, so we're going to put the onion in here, and then we're going to add the garlic, and I'm going to put in about 1/4 cup of olive oil. How much garlic, you wonder? Let me get a tablespoon. And if you know me, you know garlic is good on everything. Ice cream, potato chips. So we're going to put in 2 heaping tablespoons of minced garlic. And whatever juice gets caught up in it. And now we're going to do about 1/4 cup of olive oil, and we're going to turn on the old fire underneath the pot. Milliliters, who needs that? Okay, about 1/4 cup of olive oil. And again, I'm embarrassed that I'm out of butter. So I'm going to guesstimate half a stick of butter. I don't know how many tablespoons that is, but we're going to go with, butter's good too. We're going to go with 2 tablespoons. And I'm making a mess everywhere. Thankfully my wife is out and about and not here. And then we're going to fire up the stove. And we're going to check the potatoes. And they definitely need, I'm going to say 2 more minutes on high. And I'm going to use a wooden spoon. I don't like plastic, and I'm not a huge fan of stainless steel. And we're going to cook what's in this pot already, if I had it on the right side, until the onions caramelize. And that's only because I'm onion intolerant. Otherwise, I'd leave them partly undercooked. While that's going on, I'm going to cut up my kielbasa. And yeah, that's still a little warm because I had the wrong burner on. And you probably don't need this much, but I'm going to make it anyway. And I'm just going to cut it into little slices. Should have done them both at once, huh? It's not too late. It's never too late. It'll save a little time. And this is not pre-cooked. So it is obviously going to have to cook. Had a runner there. We got a hold of him. And I really hope in the first part of the video, I just moved the camera a minute or so ago. that I wasn't blocking out everything. Hopefully my big mouth will let you know what's going on. Anytime I eat an onion that's not cooked to death, and the first time it happened, I almost called 911. But I'm pretty active, and I kind of know my body, so I could breathe. I wasn't dizzy, but man, did I have chest pains. And then it occurred to me that I had just eaten this bean casserole thing that had gobs of onions in it. So I went and took a bunch of antacid, and 10 or 15 minutes later I was all better. So of course I put 2 and 2 together and realized that somehow I became onion intolerant. And it really sucks because I love onions. I like all foods, I'm not going to lie. So we'll keep stirring this up so nothing burns, and we just do want it cooked to death. And it already smells awesome. I mean, this butter and quasi butter and olive oil is just phenomenal. Alright, and because this kibasi is not pre-cooked, that's going in next. And like I said, this probably is not really a traditional recipe, but if you've ever had it or had a knockoff of the traditional, it's quite acceptable. Boy, I could eat it just like that. I don't need anything else in there. Garlic and meat. Ugh. Garlic in anything, really. Did I mention it's good on ice cream? Obviously, I'm kidding, but garlic is really, really good. And it's good for you. You know, I've read about it, and it's supposed to be good for your blood pressure and a natural antibacterial and so on. Okay, now we're going to put in the potatoes, and my rationale here is that I want the garlic, olive oil, and butter to soak into everything before I suspend it all in the liquid. And now I really am bummed out because my darn display on my microwave just quit. Okay, I just reset the time and it's back. Okay, so now I'm going to add the pepper, which in this case has garlic in it. Normally I would just use straight pepper, but it looks like I don't have any. And I barely had enough to do this. And then the Himalayan salt. And I won't use a lot of this. Maybe a tablespoon. My wife isn't a big salt fan, and if this tastes like she's swimming in the ocean, she's not going to be happy. Okay, so let me tip this up and hopefully y'all can see it. The potatoes, the kibasi, the butter, olive oil, garlic. It's coming along well. So now I'm going to put the kale in last because I don't want the kale to cook down into nothing. It'll be a wasteland. So here's the 32 ounces of chicken broth. And you really should make your own broth, you know, out of chicken bones and so forth. But my limitations on time and energy are just I need to use the store-bought stuff. So now I'm going to use one of the kale. I actually have two here. And you know what? I might use them both actually. But I am going to cut them up pretty well. And I love these wooden spoons because you can stick them in the dishwasher, and when they come out, I always wash them again once they come out of the dishwasher, just to make sure they're super clean, because you know wood is porous and things happen. But knock wood, I've been preparing my own food for a lot of years, and I've never poisoned myself yet. I don't want to cut this up too small, because this is a big part of this dish, and my wife is going to think I'm crazy making this soup with with ribs. But you know what? When she starts to eat it, she's going to be like, "Oh my God, hon, this is awesome." I'll be like, "Yeah, I know." My God, people just want me. Okay, because this cooks down so well, I'm not going to cut it up ridiculously small. And I'm not even sure that I'm going to use the second one. Okay, now I'm going to add 2 cups of water. And I get that out of my fridge because I have a whole house water filter and a filter on the fridge water. Even though it's cold, I know that it's clean. Alright, there's 1 cup. You know what? We might actually do 3 cups in here. I think I want this a little thinner than normal. Yeah, we're going to do 3 cups because those golden potatoes are going to kind of thicken it up a little bit. The starch and everything that's going to get cooked out of them. And I don't want it real runny, but I don't want it like cement either. Okay, so there's 3 cups of water. I'm going to bring this back to a boil, and I'm going to let it boil until the kale is cooked down. Then I'm going to let it just simmer, and 15 minutes or so of simmering after it boils and the kale cooks down, it's going to be good to go. So, thanks y'all. Hang in there. Okay guys, so the soup is done boiling. It's getting ready to go to the simmer phase, which will last about 15 minutes. And man, I'm going to have to move the camera here, because if I move the pot, it's going to get messy in here. So this is going to be phenomenal. And once the golden potatoes leach out, I can't even wait. So I'm going to go back down, check on the ribs, and we're going to go from there. So hang tight, or else. And there's 2 of my healthy, happy ducks. Anyway, I finally got the temperature to where I want it, which right now, actually, it rose again. It's about 150, about 160. I was really hoping for 145 to 150, but again, too much fuel, too much heat. My bad. Learning experience. So let's take a peek. Chimney wide open, air box completely closed. So I don't know if you can see that, but it's been about an hour and 15 minutes or so. And you know what? I'm going to flip them one more time just so that they can absorb some of the juice in here.
and it's basically chow time.
Alright guys, this is it plated up. The boneless ribs and the Caldo Verde soup. I hope it tastes as good as it smells. Just getting ready to chow down. So again, you guys have a great weekend, which is pretty much over. But we'll talk soon. Take care now.